Dakota asks, what are some underrated techwear design features or things that you didn't really see the vision with their utility, but now you find yourself using that exact feature quite a lot? I don't think there's too much stuff like that. Maybe a jacket sling is the closest, in that initially when I got the ACG Alpine jacket, I thought it was cool, but a bit of a novelty, and you know, putting the jacket on with the sling at the same time is a little bit awkward, so I never really used to bother. But now I see the value in, you know, when you want to take stuff on and off a lot, it's super easy to just throw it off, and you don't have to have the sling equipped. You can take the jacket off and then put the sling on afterwards. That's normally what I do. Jackie asks about a cold wall and how it has something of a techwear aesthetic, but not really the performance, and do I think that that's a refined manifestation of the memey techwear that we see on Instagram? I kind of get the similarity between those two things, but I think they come from a different place, in that I think Samuel Ross's influences are much more industrial and much more related to the deconstruction side of things, whereas with those kind of imitation techwear brands or those cheap things that go after the aesthetic, they're really aiming to replicate brands like Gorilla Group or Acronym or ACG, etc. But Samuel Ross's influences, yeah, I don't think a brand like Acronym would really inspire him, and I think that the ACW clothing, the cold wall stuff, is yeah, not as futuristic or as forward-facing as Acronym and the imitation brands are. You can see that in the shoe collabs, for example, with a cold wall using the Vomero 5, which is this really old silhouette, and then all the Acronym collabs are very futuristic shoes, like the Presto and the Vapormax. Joey B asks, since I mentioned the music already, do I shop more in-store or online? I don't find it that easy to shop in-store because the only good place to shop near me is London, really, and that's a bit of a trek away. It'll cost me maybe 25 quid train ticket, something like that, to go in, plus parking and all that sort of thing. So I tend to do everything online. It's way easier, and it's not that difficult to try something on and then send it back if it doesn't fit. But that said, I do really like the experience of shopping in store and just looking at the whole range of things that are available. So I do try and go in once or twice a season just to have a look around some of my favorite shops. Like in London, Maharishi I really like going to. The Stone Island shop as well just has lots of cool stuff in it. And there's a bunch of others as well. Kaid asks, what is my opinion on the newer Y3 sneakers, because he feels like the Casa is really the peak, the pinnacle of Y3 footwear. All right, let me have a quick look up and remind myself of some of the newer models. I've got to say the Casa I've kind of gone off despite still having a pair sitting on the backdrop. I just feel like there are more interesting things from Y3 out there. So the Kaiwa I actually really liked. I thought the Kasari was pretty cool as well. They're certainly very wearable. And looking now at the newer stuff like the Ratio Racer, the Kaiwa Pod, a lot of these things are quite wearable. They have a little bit more of a streetwear influence, I feel, than some of the stuff that's come before. Which, you know, maybe that's a good thing or a bad thing. I think it's gonna perhaps make people a bit more interested in picking up Y3 stuff, because I think some of the things from the last few seasons have been quite wacky and super futuristic. Maybe that's put people off. But we did see a few peaks of upcoming Y3 sneakers at Men's Fashion Week recently, and some of those I think look really interesting, so I'd say keep an eye out for FW releases if you're not really feeling this newer stuff, which does have, yeah, maybe a little bit more of a reserved look than some of the Y3 stuff that's come before. And Te Ultimatum asks, what is my favorite piece in my wardrobe? Honestly, I think that's impossible to answer because there's way too much stuff. But the ACG Alpine, I think, still holds a special place in my heart because it was the first techwear jacket that I picked up and the first, I think, really expensive thing that I'd ever bought. So that was like a really special moment for me, that I'd like saved up and bought this thing that I was really proud of and thought was really cool, even though I didn't have much else to wear it with at the time. And also for a bit of an unsung hero, the Arc'teryx Atom LT. I love it. I think it fits really nicely. The color's great, but it's always the bridesmaid, never the bride type thing, because it's pretty much always under something else, so it doesn't get as much screen time, and it's maybe not as sexy as a lot of the other techwear jackets are. But yeah, in terms of utility and just providing warmth and making techwear outfits more usable, because techwear jackets are often just shells, then yeah, Atom LT, it's banging.